West Highland Way, take the high path or the low path, which one's better? Let's give you the pros and cons. Well, good morning. You find us here in Rowardennan, and we're heading along a small section of the West Highland Way to see if we can answer what is better, the high path or the low.
Banana caramel both.
Ooh.
Like loads of home bacon, that's cool.
We are back in Rowardennan, retracing our steps from April on this little section of the West Highland Way that splits off, and you can take the high road
Or you could take the low road.
and we're going to have a look and give you a bit of the pros and cons on both paths. Now, the relive is going to be a bit strange on the way back. Obviously it'll not be going in the right direction, going the wrong way, but we're going to walk along the low path today, and then we'll walk back up along the high path and give you a wee bit of information about both routes. So join us as we head along this wee section from Rowardennan along to Rowcush. At this point on the trail, this is where you have to make your decision. You're either going down the hill on the low path or up the hill on the high path. Now, I've done both. John, what was your impression of the low path when we did it in April? Not great.
Not good, but we were running out of daylight and I was running out of energy and will to live and all of those things that are important. So yeah, maybe make sure you've got plenty of time if you're going the low route.
Yeah, we kind of messed about a wee bit in Drimmen in the morning to get going, and it put us here quite late in the evening. So if you are planning on coming this far on your, what would it be, day 2 from Drimmen, you need to be along here quite sharpish to get the camping spots that are closest on. But we're going to take you down the low path, let you see the sights down there and give you some pros and cons as we go. Right, let's head down this low path. So literally this must be 1 minute as you head down the hill, and you've got this beautifully flat, cracking little camping spot, and it's just the sign for coming off the trail is just up there. So yeah, this is your first spot to camp at if you're here early enough. It is a little bit away from the loch side, but yeah, if you're exhausted and you're ready for stopping, maybe that could be your spot for the night. So we've just cut off the path again, literally another 30 seconds down the hill. And it appears, is there? Yep, there's another clearing here. And another one over there. So yeah, just as you head off that path,
4 or 5.
there are 4 or 5 really good wee camping spots. And just at the bottom of the hill there are there's a water source that you can use. So yeah, this wouldn't be a bad wee spot.
Sadly for us, when we walked, we arrived here and these were all full, so we were snookered and had to keep walking. So yeah, get here early.
So that seems to be the key. Get here early and get one of these first 5 spots on the low path.
As they say in Scotland, if you're no fast, you're last.
Right, let's keep cracking on.
And it's see much ferns.
Again, wee spots just near the waterside. And again, be great for camping on, if you get here early enough. So this is the beginning of the kind of slightly more difficult terrain that you're going to be encountering as you head along the bottom path here. It's just a bit more undulating up and down, the path's narrower. Every now and again you do get these spectacular wee views out onto the loch. Yeah. So as John's saying, these little spots like this were perfect. It's one of these ones that you could have stuck a tent on there, but unfortunately there wasn't room for 2 tents, so if you're coming with another person, this is going to be something that will limit you as you head along this bottom route. But if you're on your own, ideal. Shove it in there, you're right next to the loch side.
Unless you want to leave someone behind and just go off on your own.
Yeah. Do the Top Gear thing, leave a man behind. Yep, that's it. Right, we'll crack on. Oh, that's a big step. So these are the fantastic big camping spots that we kind of missed out on when we arrived the last time. Again, you're right beside the loch and plenty of spaces for 2 or 3 tents. Sadly for us, we arrived way after, excuse the jet ski in the background, we arrived way after it was time to be stopping. We missed out on camp spots like that and we just had to keep going. So yeah, there's tons of camping down in this low path and they're all beside the loch. It's just a matter of getting here early and bagging your spot. So 5 pros of heading along the low path just past Rowardennan. Number 1, on the bottom path you are going to get some of the most cracking views out over Loch Lomond because you're down on the loch side. So if views are what you want, the bottom path's for you. Number 2, if you're up for a challenge, this is the path you want to take. The top path is a bit more straightforward, this one's a bit more technical. So if you like your challenging walking, take the low path. Number 3, come on the bottom path and you're more likely to see some of the wildlife. The path along the side of Loch Lomond has some very large black wild goats, which if we see them later on, we'll film them for you. So you're more likely to see them if you come on the bottom path. Number 4, at the end of a long day's hiking, if it's warm enough, if you're into your wild swimming, you're going to be down at the loch. You can go in for a wild swim, get yourself out, get something cosy to drink. There's another advantage to being down at lochside. Number 5, if you're heading to the Rowardennan bothy and that's where you're staying, if you come on the low path, you're going to be walking right past it. High path, you're going to have to double back on yourself. Maybe not so easy to find.
Right, he's asked me to do the cons of the low path, so let's start. Number 1, it was one of his pluses for me. The challenge, depending on the time of day, the challenge might not be something you're after. I know I wasn't. Number 2, not sure, but I think you might find more midges down near the water. Not the time we came in April, and we did that before the midges came out, but depending on when you're doing the West Highland Way, you might get lots of midges at the water. Number 3, we're showing you the camping spots available, but if you can find one, great, but that might be one of the things you run into, that just camping spots are limited, so you need to be quick. Number 4, similar to a pro again, if you like wildlife, you might see the big massive horned goats. But the downside of that is, when we were wild camping in the middle of the night, I heard something moving outside the tent, and I just assumed Gordon had got up to go to the toilet, but then I heard him snoring, and I was too terrified to look outside the tent. I think it was one of those big goats. So yeah, that's maybe a negative if you don't like being rudely awoken during the night. And number 5, depending on the time of year that you do this as well, you might find that you're competing with not hikers, but people fishing or people on jet skis and stuff, where, you know, just taking up space that maybe could have been used for hikers. So yeah, it's something to be aware of. If you go the high path, you won't have that problem.
Now, whilst we're out here doing this kind of pros and cons video for you today, it's worth keeping in mind we're out here with day packs on. If you're camping along this route, you'll be carrying all your gear, because there is no drop-off point between Rowardennan and Inversnaid. So, you know, it's easier with a day pack on. The physical exertion is different. We're doing it obviously in September at the minute, and I always tend to choose April or October for my long distance hikes, just because midges for me can ruin a trip. So again, we've given you 10 pros and cons, but there's a longer list than that. Right, we're going to stop for something to drink because it is rather humid at the minute.
Making things easier.
So this is the spot we found ourselves on at the end of day 2. Now the benefits of being here are you're only about half an hour from the Rowardennan bothy. Just down the hill that we've just come across the bridge, there is a little stream which isn't running very fast at the minute, but it is the summertime, so yeah, there's everything here you need if you're coming on the bottom path. And I say the benefit of being here was tomorrow was going to be much shorter. So yeah, if you're coming along, this is probably your last little camping spot before you reach the Rowardennan bothy.
Yeah, the only caveat to that is that path there, we don't think is man-made. I think that's the goats coming down, and I think that's why a goat came down between our tent and was sniffing about my tent in the middle of the night, so just beware of that. Plus this is our camping spot, so don't stay here.
So at this time of year, the berries are just starting to ripen up. They're quite nice. So if you're lucky enough and the goats haven't eaten them all, yeah, have a go at them. Guaranteed not to have any exhaust fumes on them. So if you're looking at a map and you're coming along the high path, you might well come down this road here. If you're heading to Rowcouch, certainly you'll probably want to come down this path because it'll save you having to double back on yourself as you come along. Once you're down, you're looking for your West Highland Way sign. You're next to these big conifer trees and you're heading along, and you'll only be another 20 minutes to Rowcouch. So yeah, there we go. So if you're a high path person but you're staying at the Rowcouch bothy, head down the track, head along this way, and you'll be there in about 20 minutes. So here we are, we're at the Rowcouch bothy. Now, I've never been tempted to sleep or stop at a bothy. If it's your thing, great, enjoy it, embrace it. I like to be zipped in away from the bugs and the critters, and from what I understand, the mice and the pine martens quite often head in here to see if there's any food being dropped on the floor or lying about, and you hear the scrabbling about in your packs in the middle of the night. So we're going to have a wee look in and let you see what it looks like in here. It's one of the cleaner bothies, I understand. Right, let's take you down and show you inside. So here you go. Oh, it smells like a wood fire in here.
You can hear something scrabbling about already. There's something.
It is.
Yeah, I'm into that.
So anyway, there's somewhere to sit. Somebody's left some camping gas. So if you're struggling for gas, obviously somebody's decided the big camping gas too much and has left that there for somebody to take. So yeah.
Is it just stuff dropping on the tin roof maybe? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think there's something crawling about in here. If we can spot it, I'll let you see it. If we're quiet.
So he was definitely crawling about gigantic big spiders. Run away! Look at the spider's webs.
Yeah, if you're afraid of spiders, this is... I've just finished saying it's one of the cleaner bothies. If you're afraid of spiders, this is maybe not the place for you.
There's just loads of spider egg sacs everywhere. I'm not into it.
So this is a hard pass.
Yep, might be coming for a coffee if it was raining, but I don't think I'd stay here overnight.
No. Okay, this is the Rowcouch bothy. So this is your sleeping platform. This is where you want to be sleeping, but again,
That one's collapsed now, either.
you're sharing this with the animals that live around about. Oh look, actually, if you're brave you could be up on this platform up here. I'm not sure how you get up to that, but there we go. You can imagine this on a cold night being quite a welcome stop. So it's not for me, but
In a blizzard.
in a blizzard and horrible colder weather, this, you know,
Could be a lifesaver.
at a pinch. Right, let's leave the Rowcouch and we're going to head along to where the path joins on and yeah, we're going to show you along the high route. We better close this door behind us. There we go. So that was the Rowardennan bothy. We're not far now until we get along to where the high road and the low road join together. So we'll take you along there, and then we're going to give you the pros and cons of heading the high route. Now we're going to be doing it in reverse, but hopefully you'll get the gist. Okay, right, speak to you in a wee bit. Just while I remember, we were talking about the if you're not into the staying in bothies thing, then there are spots of grass just outside the Rowardennan bothy where if that was kind of last gasp, you could camp just outside of there. And then you've also got, obviously, for cooking and the warmth of being in next to the fire before heading out to your own bed. So yeah, that's an alternative if you want to push on and make Rowardennan your end of day 2. Okay. So there we go, that's us been along the low route. It has taken us, with filming, about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now that's wearing the lighter backpacks, so if you're in a heavier backpack, it's going to be about roughly the same time because we've stopped to do a fair bit of filming. This is where the low path meets, and we're going to head and take you back along the high route, which is, it's more of a country road than it is a path. So yeah, this is now not the low part, this is the high part of the West Highland Way in reverse. Okay. So we're just saying that this path already, it feels like a walk in your local country park. We've got Calendar Park obviously in Falkirk, and the roads up the back are very like this. Gentle inclines and maybe a little bit boring. But again, if you're on a time crunch, then you know, maybe this is a path for you. Anyway, let's keep walking on.
So, the high path pros. Number 1, it's easier. It's immeasurably easier than that low path. So, if you're needing to make time or you're just a bit bummed out, then maybe this is the path for you. Number 2, because the path's a little bit open, you're probably less likely to pick up a tick from a passing fern or something, and you might get less midges up here just because you're a bit further away from the water, so avoiding those little bitey creatures. Number 3, yeah, if the weather's a bit horrible, then maybe you want to take the high road because it's a bit more sheltered up here. There's more trees, so if you're camping up here, you'll definitely be protected a bit more from the elements. And number 4, a similar one to number 3 in that you're kind of a bit more away from the loch, so it's definitely quieter up here. I don't think you'll have as many people coming up this route either. I think most of them tend to take the low route. But yeah, you'll get peace and quiet up here as well. You're kind of away from the noise of the loch and the road on the far side of the loch, so you'll get a quieter night's sleep up here. And number 5, maybe a tenuous one, but if you've got a phobia of being woken up by goats during the night, then I think they tend to be down near the loch. So yeah, if you want to avoid big massive longhorn goats coming into your tent in the middle of the night, then maybe come up this way.
You do see things like magical leaves that are just suspended in mid-air. Yeah, that's some sort of Paul Daniels magic trick. So we're just saying the high path here has lots of these little grass verges where you could stick a tent, or in the case of the bit just further down there, multiple tents. So if you're coming in a group, you know, this is going to give you many options for group camping where you can all be in a big row together. Right, so here are the downside, the cons of coming up on the top path. Number one, it's boring. It's really boring. You're walking through trees. Now, if trees are your thing, great. It's not mine. And you've got absolutely zero view of the loch. You're walking along Loch Lomond side. Why wouldn't you want to be next to the loch? Number two, we've seen loads of camping spots in that bottom route. I think because it's more popular. We've seen less camping spots in the first 10 minutes along this route than we had done in the first 10 minutes of the other route. So, again, I'm saying first 10, it'll be the last 10 for this section. But yeah, number two would be, I think there's less camping spots up here than there are down the bottom. Number three, if you like to go for a dip at the end of the day, and wild swimming's your thing, you're going to have a long walk down to the loch side. So if you want to do the wild swimming thing, that's a con for coming on the top route. Go the bottom route. Con number four is fresh water. Now my advice would be fill up at Rowardennan when you get to the Inversnaid Hotel, fill up your bottles there. But if you're staying overnight and you're looking for teas and coffees or water to boil your meals at night, we haven't seen a single stream so far that's running. It could be that it's the time of year, but again, I don't remember there being too many streams with water that I would have been happily drinking out of. So lack of fresh water on the top route is my con number four. Con number five, last one. I come on this trail and part of what I enjoy about it is meeting other people from all over the world. They reckon about 36,000 people do this trail every year. If you enjoy meeting people and chatting to other hikers who are having a similar experience to you along the way, don't come on the high path. It's a lot quieter. Most people, I think, opt to do the low route. So if you want to meet people, don't come on the high route. Con number five. Now, one of the things about coming on the high path is you'll get glimpses every now and again out through the trees. But one place there is a good view is down at the little viewing platform, which is just down here, which we're going to take you down and show you. There's a group of people just coming up from our left here, so we'll show you that quickly before they arrive. Okay. So sadly the bench has seen better days. So back in 2022, when I did this, the West Highland Way for, well, it would have been the second time, but completing it for the first time, this was the spot that I camped on the high path. It's beautifully flat and it's literally right next to the trail. So it's just up the hill from where it forks off, so if you're looking for an early place to camp and you're heading along the high path, if you're lucky enough to get in here first and you're on your own, there we go. Okay, let's head back down the hill. So there we go, that's the high path finished. We've done it in reverse order, if you like. It's taken an hour and 5 minutes to walk back along that way. So yeah, if your time's a crunch, get on the high path. It's easier, you'll get there faster, but I think you'll see from what we've said, there are pros and cons. Some of our pros will be your cons, some of our cons will be your pros. Again, it depends on what you're looking for out of your trip. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. The next trip, quite possibly, will be the Catteran Trail, which John and I will be doing in October. So until then, go and create your own adventures, and we'll see you on the next one.